Today we're going to be doing a deep dive on the website of DrizzleX, which is literally a software for managing H2O. Let me explain. By the way, my name is Eddie. I run a B2B CRO agency. Let's get right into it.
As I mentioned, DrizzleX is a platform that manages water, specifically in multi-family buildings. What this means is DrizzleX places a sensor on every single faucet and pipe in a building and lets real estate companies as well as building owners track leaks and water usage through the software dashboard. Now, why is this revolutionary? In the US, most buildings cannot track the water usage of each single unit, and instead they can only track the lump sum of all water used in that building. This limits building owners to charge the same fixed monthly water bill to every unit, and as a result, tenants don't really care how much water they're using, and when there's a spike in water usage that the monthly fixed bill doesn't cover, this becomes a loss for the building owner. Now, by implementing DrizzleX, building owners can charge based on usage and never have to lose money on water bills. I know all of this because I've done my research, but does the homepage communicate all these benefits? Let's find out. First of all, the hero section. I see that the headline is Water Management System for Multifamily Buildings. And the subheadline reads, DrizzleX saves 20 to 40% or more on water bills. To be honest, this is not a bad headline, but I would like to make one important change. I think the subheadline here and the headline should be swapped, because the subheadline is the sentence that contains the business outcome, which is save 40% on water bills. In fact, your buyers might be completely new to water management solutions in the first place, and they might not be able to make that connection. So we just want to make the business outcome super explicit and stated first in the headline. So a headline that we might use in this case is save 40% on water bills for multifamily buildings. Nice and easy. Next, I see the product chops on the right here, which can work, but I would A/B test this against the actual product interface as a whole with the full dashboard, because in a lot of cases, just plainly showing the product interface in a really clear way tend to perform well in terms of conversions. In the current state, the visitor has no idea if these are just visual representations or they're actual parts of the product that they will be buying. So we just want to make that extra clear. The last thing about the hero section that I want to talk about is that I will simplify some information here. We don't want to cause an information overload, right? For instance, we have some extra bullets here underneath the headline and the CTA talking about IoT micrometers and powerful landlord dashboards. I think these count more as a further explanation of how your solution works, so a better place would be the feature section of your homepage. Currently, there are also two CTAs. There's Start Saving Now and Get a Free Water Consultation, and these both lead to different forms, as you can see here. The visitor doesn't know what's included in the water consultation at this point, so presenting too many choices at once can actually cause decision paralysis, and we just want to focus the CTA in the hero section to one thing only. I see an opaque background image behind all the product images and text. And I think it's best to remove this for the sake of contrast between the background and the text, and also just not trying to do too much in terms of visual communication. In place of all these extra elements that we're removing, I would just place the logo reel of past and current customers so that we can have the business outcome, the product images, CTA, and the social proof in the form of customer logos all above the scroll. Now, I'm going to take a look at the body of the homepage. So we have a feature section with 3 bullets. And then we have a problem section. And finally, we have some testimonials. In the body of the homepage, we want to include 3 essential elements, which is again, business outcome, social proof, and objection handling. To highlight business outcomes in this feature section, instead of saying stay on top of leaks, I would say identify leaks early and save plumbing costs. Instead of saying change tenants' habits, I would say reduce water waste in your building by 30%. Instead of saying bill tenants for actual water use, I would say stop losing money to unexpected spikes through usage-based billing. And for each bullet, I would potentially turn them into their own section accompanied by the product interface for each feature. Next, in this problem section, I think it's really great that it's highlighting the pain point that caused your buyers to search for this product in the first place. But just one thing, I would move this up before the feature section. So the homepage is structured in a way where it's empathizing with your buyer's pain point and then introducing the features that solve these pain points. Next, I see testimonials, which is great social proof. One small detail I would add is if we could include the profile pictures of the people that provided these testimonials, it would be an excellent touch of credibility. And I also saw some amazing case studies on the How We Save page. It lists out various buildings where DrizzleX is installed in, and it shows exactly how many units and tenants DrizzleX saved water for, including the exact amount of bills saved and the ROI. Now, I would just move all of this to the homepage. I would include it between sections kind of as a bread and butter and as an extra social proof element. And there's a reason why. The average B2B website's bounce rate, according to fullstory.com, is 56%, which means only 44% of your website visitors are viewing these secondary pages. So I would just front load anything that's significant to the homepage so you can get as many eyes on it. The last element I would include are objection handling elements. If we've successfully sold the visitor on the outcome up to this point, they will want to believe it too, but they will naturally also have some doubts. For example, they might be thinking, hey, this system looks all well and nice, but what's the catch? Is it going to be a huge headache and cost for me to set up all these sensors in my building? This is where we can display 1 or 2 sections to directly address your customers' top objections. By the way, if you have a sales team, it would be a great idea to ask them the top objections that they get. So in DrizzleX's case, we can emphasize that the sensors are super easy to implement and they don't require a plumber, and the entire building can be set up in one day. In this website, the last thing I want to talk about is the contact form. It's using a traditional form seen in many B2B websites, but because DrizzleX is a solution with a hard ROI, I see a potential to A/B test an interactive ROI calculation form. Now, there is some skepticism in using ROI calculators for B2B websites, and that's because a lot of times ROIs can be vague and they can also be manipulated. But in this case, since DrizzleX's main value prop is significant cost saving, and also it comes with a hard ROI, it's much easier to calculate and give a convincing ROI. So we could ask the visitor how many units their building has, how much they're spending on plumbing each year, and the form could ask for the visitor's contact information in exchange to send them the results. The headline of the form would be something enticing like, see how much your building can save on water bills with DrizzleX. I've seen these type of forms work well for real estate mortgages and finance products, and a good example of this interactive form is something like this from Cardinal Finance, where you just ask a couple of questions and you send the visitor a personalized result. Again, I would A/B test this to properly measure if it creates a conversion increase.
If you'd like me to take a look at your website next, you can comment your domain down below. If you'd like me to do a one-on-one deep dive, you can hop on over to my profile and book an audit there. I'll see you next time.